Welcome back, everybody. You know, it's been almost 2 years to the day that we began recording the Veronica Whisper Stories. And we've had a 2 year kind of a rest period, I guess, to really settle in with everything that we presented to you a couple years ago. So, this is an intro. The next series is the Time Space series. So, all of the stories that come after this intro will be, of course, about time and space. And some of the indications that I've gotten in my experiences that time space is changing, it's speeding up. But I want to just throw out a few things here. I'm a seed planter, so I can't pass up an opportunity to plant some seeds. You know, I was thinking about time this morning when I got up. I'm thinking about it a lot. And if we could suspend our normal belief system for a while and just be open to some things, I want to suggest something to you because it occurred to me this morning. My birthday was yesterday, October 8th. And I realized that I seem to have this surge of creativity around my birth date. And that seems to be when I write the most, when I tell stories the most, when I make recordings like this the most, is right around my birthday. And then it occurred to me that I wonder if part of this isn't that I am remembering who I really am closer to my birth. Because if we can embrace the idea that our birth is by our own design and by our own timing, that we come into this world to be born, to incarnate into this earth plane, I think it might help us understand ourselves a little bit better. I think the most magnificent things that we do, that we create in our life here on earth, is when we decide to be born and when we decide to die. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there. And then I found it was so timely. I receive the Writer's Almanac poetry every morning, and there's a new poem in my inbox every morning. And I saw a poem there, and I can't read it to you because I'd be infringing on some terms and conditions of the site itself. So I can't really read the poem to you, but it's simply called Jane. And it's by a guy by the name of George Bill Gear. I think that's how it's pronounced. I can tell you about it. I laughed when I saw it in my inbox this morning because, you know, my little granddaughter who just turned 9 last month, already yesterday, she called me for my birthday and she said, "Grammy, I'm going to be 10 next year." Kids, I think we were all like this. We could hardly wait to get older. And then we, through our lifetime, when we become a little older, and we're seeing our parents age, and we're seeing our grandparents age, and we're seeing people dying in our family, we seem to think that this is never ever going to happen to us, that we're never going to get old. And the poem that arrived this morning was called Jane, and it's a story about a guy who lives across from this old woman. And on this particular day and time, he's watching her drag all of these black garbage bags out to the curb for the garbage man to pick up. And the reason that she's bringing all this stuff out of her house is because she's putting her house up for sale because she's going into a facility, an old folks' home, basically. And the fella that is watching this thinks to himself, "Poor Jane. You know, poor Jane, she's gotten so old and she needs to go into a facility. That'll never happen to me. That'll just never happen to me. I'll get up tomorrow, I'll do my gardening, I'll make my phone calls, I'll go to work, I'll enjoy my kids, and we'll take a few vacations in our lifetime, and things will go on like that into eternity." As he's watching this woman, he completely rejects the idea that he will ever get old. And it's funny, when I look in the mirror in the morning, I see a girl. I talk to friends of mine who are 60 years old, like I am as of yesterday. We all feel very young. We don't feel like we've aged a bit, but we look in the mirror and it tells another story. I think that there really is another story to this time thing. It occurred to me today that time is cruel, but I'm not sure if that's our belief of time. If we're so embedded into this belief system that time really exists. So with the next stories, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about some of my experiences with time and space. And I want to plant the seed that I don't think it's real. I think it's just an illusion, just something that we've made up for convenience. So with that, I want to make a couple announcements before we go on with the stories. I'd like to invite you to visit my official website. It's not quite finished yet, but veronicaswhisper.com, www.veronicaswhisper.com is my official website. I'm going to be putting up a lot of short stories, poetry, these stories in the order, the past series, in order that I received them, so you can revisit those or visit them for for the first time. I don't know. And I'd also especially like for you to visit me on Facebook. And it's the Veronica's Whisper Facebook page. And I'd love for you to like the page. And it's a place where we can actually dialogue about some of this stuff. So I invite you to tell your stories with me, comment on my stories, and it's a dialogue. It's a place for dialogue. It's a place for communication. So with that, we'll go into the next story called Being Invisible. Thanks for watching.